Hi, I'm Amy Wolf with your VUCast for the week of September 8th. He's known as a tyrant and murderer. Now almost 2 years after the groundbreaking trial of Iraqi dictator Saddam Hussein, and as the war in Iraq continues, a Vanderbilt professor with a unique inside perspective of the Saddam trial insists Iraq is much better off today than it was when Saddam was in power. Law professor Mike Newton helped establish the Iraqi Special Tribunal that tried Saddam and led legal training for its judges. Newton was in the courthouse during the Saddam trial and continues to advise Iraqi judges today. In a new book titled Enemy of the State, Newton gives readers a front row seat to experience what really happened at this historic trial.
What was amazing about this trial was watching witnesses who would come in who, when Saddam was in power, standing up to Saddam and the regime in instant death. To watch those people come in, sit down 10 feet away, 12 feet away, look him in the eye and say, "This is what you did to me. This is what you did to my family. This is how you destroyed my life," was very powerful. When Saddam stood up and he wagged his finger at that defense attorney and he said, "If you speak, you are the enemy of the state," which on live national television was essentially a death threat. And when I watched that lawyer clear his throat, take a drink of water, staggered by the import of what he was about to do, but then begin to speak and begin an eloquent 4-hour closing argument, it was powerful. And I said, if we don't document what these people are truly doing, then it'll be lost for history.
You can hear Newton's full interview as he talks about his involvement with the Iraqi judges and explains what Saddam was like in the court when the cameras were off on vanderbilt.edu/news. Here's a question for you. Should kids be able to use calculators in elementary school?
Calculator, calculator, multiply, divide. Decimals, percentages, you solve them all with pride. Calculator, calculator, don't be such a jerk. Thank you for the answers, but you need to show your work.
New Vanderbilt research finds yes, in certain cases. Assistant Professor of Psychology Bethany Riddle-Johnson says calculators can be useful tools in elementary math classes if students already have basic math skills.
Kids don't already have strategies for figuring out multiplication facts. They need to be generating them on their own. But for kids who already have some strategies in place, then it's perfectly fine for them to use the calculator to practice facts. And part of the reason that might be is they get a lot more exposure to right answers if they're practicing on a calculator because they have more time.
Riddle-Johnson says calculators can be helpful when students are memorizing their multiplication tables. As the kids figure out the problems on paper, they can check their work on a calculator and get immediate feedback. You can read more on the study on vanderbilt.edu/news. With each new class that comes into Vanderbilt, there's a great mix of celebrating traditions and starting some new ones. Like thousands of students before them, incoming first years made their historic Founders Walk through the gates of Vanderbilt, but not before doing something that's never been done here before. As part of the launch of the brand new living learning community, The Commons, the class of 2012 and the professors and families living with them in the Commons had a unique picture taken.
Okay, here we go. Just a few more and you guys are done.
We give the photogs and creative services 4 Commodores for this great shot.
Okay, here you go. And hold, don't blink.
And speaking of pictures, here's something cool you might have missed in the Commons move-in video. The man taking portraits of the new students and their families in Gillette Hall is none other than Associate Provost of Undergraduate Education, Lucius Outlaw. You can see the Commons move-in video and hear from faculty living under the same roof with students at vanderbilt.edu/news, or you can go to our YouTube page at youtube.com/Vanderbilt. For VUCast, I'm Amy Wolf.